Hey, what is happening, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. This segment, we're going to go over Dominick Cruz versus Pedro Munhoz. This fight's supposed to take place December 11th, UFC 269 at bantamweight. It's a good fight. Let's get into it. All right, starting with one of MMA's all-time greats, Dominick Cruz, the Dominator. He is a two-time UFC bantamweight champion, also former WEC bantamweight champ. Currently, he's number 10 in the UFC bantamweight rankings. Some of Dominick Cruz's stats: he is 5'8", 68-inch reach. He has a blue belt in BJJ, mixed martial arts record 23 wins, 3 losses. Dominick Cruz won his last fight against Casey Kenny. Before that, he was on a 2-fight skid, losing to Henry Cejudo and Cody Garbrandt. Those are not bad names to lose to. Before those 2 losses, Dominick Cruz was on a 13-fight win streak. Like I said, one of MMA's all-time greats. Very, very talented fighter. I would say well-rounded. Dominick Cruz has a weird unorthodox striking style, kind of like innovated the game as far as footwork. Fighters emulated Dominick Cruz, for example, TJ Dillashaw. Yeah, just a very unique, interesting style. For a long time, Dominick Cruz was very hard to read. Guys started figuring him out though. That's just the way the game is. Happened to Lyoto Machida. Came in with that karate blitzing style, was wrecking shop. Then he got figured out. You stay in the game long enough, you fight long enough, people are going to break down your style and have answers for it. I feel like that Cody Garbrandt fight was a turning point for Dominick Cruz in his career. I would say he got a little bit exposed in that fight. But besides that, like I said, well-rounded. He can strike, he has wrestling, he can grapple. I think he's strong for bantamweight. He is a true student of the game, always learning, always analyzing. Dominick Cruz has a great mind for mixed martial arts, great fight IQ, and he's pretty much as tough as they come. Moving on to Pedro Munhoz, former bantamweight champ of Resurrection Fighting Alliance. Right now he's number 8 in the UFC bantamweight rankings. Some of his stats: 5'6", 65-inch reach. He has a black belt in BJJ and a brown belt in Judo. Mixed martial arts record: 19 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest. Great mixture of wins: 5 knockouts, 8 submissions. Pedro Munhoz has had kind of like a spotty career in his last 5 fights. He lost his last fight against Jose Aldo, beat Jimmy Rivera before that, 2 losses to Frankie Edgar and Aljamain Sterling, and before that he stopped Cody Garbrandt. Munhoz is very strong for the division. He can grapple, likes to keep it on the feet as well. He certainly could bang, has good power. I think he's a tank for bantamweight. He was on a good run for a little bit. 4 fight win streaks, 3 fight win streaks, but something is certainly going on present day. Could be the wear and tear, could be the age. Everybody ages differently. I think he's an entertaining, great fighter. Alright, so the matchup. How could this fight possibly play out? Well, I'm going to say right out the gate, I favor Dominick Cruz, even with the injuries, even with the sporadic fighting. I just think that Dominick Cruz at his very best is a better fighter than Pedro Munhoz, and that's no disrespect to Pedro Munhoz at all. But what version of Dominick Cruz are we going to get in this fight? Is he going to come in close to 100% because he seems to get injured often? His previous injuries, I think, affected his career as well. When you have knee and leg problems in a fighting sport, usually it's not good, especially for a guy who relies on his movement like Dominick Cruz. His game is really based on his footwork and movement. It's how he doesn't get hit. It's how he sets up attacks. And if he has no spring in his legs, no pop, you're limiting a lot of what Dominick Cruz could do. If he comes in healthy, I think he's going to dance circles around Pedro Munhoz. I think he's going to do very well in the stand-up. Now the thing with Pedro Munhoz is Pedro Munhoz could knock you out cold at bantamweight. He's a strong dude. He's a little tank. Now engaging with Munhoz, strictly striking, might be dangerous for Cruz. Dominick Cruz is going to have to do what he's really good at, mixing things up. That's striking and takedowns, grappling. He needs to do that with Pedro Munhoz. Munhoz is a black belt in BJJ, but Dominick Cruz is so well versed in grappling. I think he's going to be okay, especially for short stints. Take Munhoz down, land some ground and pound, score, stick and move on the feet. I can see Dominick Cruz doing really well. Pedro Munhoz has to make this fight ugly. He has to make it into a brawl. He has to get Dominick Cruz to engage recklessly, because that's his best bet to land something big and knock Dominick Cruz out. I think if he goes for a skill for skill, technique versus technique approach, I think he's going to lose that fight. But again, it all really depends on what shape Dominick Cruz comes in, how healthy he is, whether or not his injuries are going to affect him. He himself doesn't believe in ring rust, but I do believe being out for quite some time affects you. So my pick for this fight, guys, I'm going with the legend, one of the OG greats, Dominick Cruz. I believe that he can turn back the clock, and I do think he can beat Pedro Munhoz. If I could put a ratio on it, I'm going to say 60-40 Dominick Cruz. I do think Pedro is in this fight. I do think he can win. I just favor Dominick Cruz and his style. Let's see what happens. You guys let me know in the comment section who takes this fight and why. I would love to read your thoughts. Thanks for watching this segment. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. That's how you support the channel. Appreciate it, guys. And until the next one, you all take care. When this fight takes place, we'll come back and talk about it. Later, guys.